Alright guys, in today's video in FabriCAM, we're going to be looking at adding parts using our secondary toolbar. But before that, let's have a quick intro first. So today's video can be found on softwaretraining.co.za. We make short and easy to watch problem solving videos, and we also have daily updates. Otherwise, we're back into the program here. And now in the previous video, we looked at the add parts option or feature. And today we're going to be going into its settings because it's got quite a few, so we've got a bit to cover. So I'm going to quickly add a flat part, just something where we can see a nice variation. Add another circle, maybe make this 200. And then, like I mentioned in the previous video, a very important part of adding parts will be using the manual quantity. If it only has one, then yeah, it's not going to work very well. I'm just going to go about 9 for this, just so I know we've got at least enough, and then I say add. To add this one part, the first part you're going to have to add manually, because as you can see at the moment it is grayed out. So you actually need a part selected in order for this feature to work. So I'm going to add this part, and then once I select it, you can see it becomes available. Let's zoom in here for you guys so you can see better. So then I'm going to click this, and then from the actual pop-up we have a few things that we have to look at, or can look at. Now on top we've got our info little block, which is obviously the one we covered before, where if this one's red, that means you don't have enough pieces to add. Then we've got width of the part, so basic how can I say, measurements of the size of the part we've got. And this is relevant to when you're setting your actual offsets and so forth. Then when it comes to these settings, we've got two panels here, one for the X and one for the Y. Now the settings in there is exactly the same, but one will affect obviously the X, and one the Y. So now from these settings, the first one we have here is the number parts X. So in other words, how many parts do you want to add in the X direction, keeping in mind that we only have 8 available. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, okay, we want 5 in X, and keeping in mind that this won't be adding 5. This will be 5 altogether with number 1. Because by default it's on 1, and we know we've got 9, so that means it's already used to 1. So we can go 5, so altogether it's going to be 5 on the actual X. Now, the next two settings we have to look at here, we've got the AX and we've got the offset X. Now these ones work together, so if you adjust one, the other one automatically adjusts. So the top one, you can kind of use a calculation of, let's say it is 204 because it's got a 4 offset over here. Now let's say you want maybe a 200 spacing between the shapes, then you have to go to 400. You catch the idea. So now you can see the offset is 200. But so it just depends the workflow you like to use. I personally like to use the offset because it's way more, way less calculation you have to do in the long run. But if you have something specific you have to go for, then you can always use the AX. Then after that we have the X, or AX plus and AX minus. Now I'm sure you can kind of figure out what that will mean, but I'll explain it either way. So the AX plus, which means it's going to add 5, or should I say it's going to add 4 to this shape in a positive direction on the X. So positive will be to the right, and if we go minus, it's going to add to the negative, but we won't be fitting in 5 over here or 4, so I'm going to keep this on the positive, and then the spacing we'll leave it about 200. So let's just say okay and see what that looks like. Here we go. So now we've got 4 shapes, because obviously the 5th one could not fit in. So we can always move that sideways, and then we just go there again. And now let me just fix that. Now what we want to do is select the last one, go add parts, make sure this one is 200, and then we make this one 2. So we can see we only have 5 shapes left. So I'm going to say okay, and there we go. It's added the last one, some equal 200 spacing between all of them. Now you can obviously go in the Y direction as well, so up and down. But the nice thing is, like I mentioned, or just show you, you can select any one of these shapes and add a part from there. So let's try that. Let's go make one up and one down, or yeah, let's do that. So I'm gonna go also 200 spacing. Let's see if we fit it in. Make this one 2. At the moment it is gonna add us a shape upwards. So okay, something that did not like that, so let's just try that again. I'm gonna make this one 2. Let's go about 100 spacing just to see, make sure it's in the Y. There we go. So 200 was a bit far. I think our borders width set a bit high. Now let's add one to the bottom. We're gonna make this 2, make this 100, and then we go, make sure we go the Y in the minus this time, and then it should add us a shape to the bottom. So yeah, so now you can imagine how you can use this. As we can see, we sorry, wrong button. We still have a few shapes left, got about 2 left, so you can always add it from there. So this is a very nice way to get symmetrical type parts added, or not symmetrical, rather equally spaced. You can do this with a nesting, but the nesting is obviously limited to nesting it on the canvas as a whole from one origin point. With this, you can place your shape anywhere and start equally spacing it from there, which is very handy. So otherwise, that is it on the add parts feature from our secondary toolbar. And yeah, I would run through a recap, but this video is running a bit late or long already. So otherwise, if we head here to softwaretraining.co.za, you guys will notice we've got a variety of different softwares we do cover, and you can also isolate your search here on the top right. If you do not, however, find the training videos you're looking for, just simply go here, request a training video, fill in the me form, and then we'll do our best to try and make that for you. But otherwise, thanks guys for watching, and cheers.